the Nobel Prize in 2003. So the prize awarded for experimental method that generate the attosecond pulses of light for the study of the electron dynamics in matter. Nobel Prize awarded for experimental method that generate attosecond pulses of light. कैसी pulse of light? Attosecond. For the study of electron dynamics in matter. Pierre Agostini, Ferenc Krauss, and N.A. Liouville. About electron dynamics. Electron dynamics in simple terms refers to the behavior and movement of electrons within the atoms and the molecule. The simple term refers to the behavior and the movement of electrons within atoms and molecules. Electron dynamics in simple terms refers to the behavior and movement of electrons within the atoms and molecules. An atom is composed of a nucleus of protons and the neutrons and electrons which are negatively charged travels around the nucleus. Atom natural time scale is incredibly short. Atoms can move and turn in millionth of a billionth of a second, known as femtosecond. Atom's natural time scale is incredibly short. Atoms can move and turn in millionth of a billionth of a second. Known as femtosecond. Femtosecond is equal to 10 to the power minus 15 second. Electrons move or change rapidly in the magnitude of attosecond, which makes them difficult to study for a long time. Femtosecond was seen as the shortest achievable duration of the light bulb, thus making the study of electrons very difficult. For a long time, femtosecond was seen as the shortest achievable duration. How did the discovery overcome this challenge? Generation of an attosecond pulse of light. N.A. Liouville. In 1987, N.A. Liouville and her colleagues transmitted an laser beam through a noble gas and it produced multiple overtones. N.A. Liouville and her colleague transmitted an infrared laser beam through a noble gas, and when the peak of one overtone merges with the peak of another, they undergo constructive interference and produces a larger peak. Similarly, when the peak of one overtone merges with the trough of another, they undergo destructive interference, cancelling themselves out. So by combining a large number of overtones in this way, physicists fine-tune a setup to produce light pulse for a few hundred attoseconds. For example, overtones. Attosecond and attosecond signs. Attosecond, second age of universe. An attosecond is equivalent to the 10 to the power minus 18 of a second. Attosecond sign deal with the production of extremely short light pulse and using them to study the super fast process. The overtone, these are waves of light whose wavelength was an integer fraction of the beam. Overtone 1, overtone 2, overtone 3. Have wavelength of 10, 25, 50. Overtones have several cycle for each cycle in the fundamental tone. Overtones work the same way in light wave. Light pulse for a few hundred attoseconds. Production of the pulse train. Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss. In 2001, Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss were able to produce verified attosecond pulse in a train. That is, a pulse followed by a gap, followed by a pulse, and so forth. A pulse followed by a gap and followed by a pulse, and so forth. Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss. In 2001, Pierre Agostini and Ferenc Krauss were able to produce a verified attosecond pulse in a train. Resultantly, these experiments produced pulses of light that were measured in attoseconds. These pulses can be used to provide images of the process inside atoms and the molecule, including electron dynamics. The word of electron is exposed with the shortest of the light pulse. When laser light is transmitted through a gas, ultraviolet जब भी कोई laser light हम pass करते हैं through a gas या noble gas, ultraviolet overtones arise from the atoms in the gas. In the right condition, these overtones may be in a phase. When they cycle coincide, considered attosecond pulses are formed. Overtones are superimposed, reinforced for catching each other. Attosecond pulse. Recently, these experiments, the experts were able to produce a pulse as short as 43 attoseconds. Recently, these experiments produced a pulse of light that were measured in attoseconds. These pulses then can be used to provide images of the process inside the atoms and the molecule. So, the pulse of light were measured in attoseconds. In pulse form, images can be used to produce images of the process inside atoms and molecule. Application of attosecond physics. Medical diagnosis. To check for the presence of a certain molecule, for instance, a study of molecular level changes in the blood to identify disease. Medical diagnostic. To study for the presence of a certain molecule, for instance, a study of molecular level changes in blood to identify disease. Development of ultra-fast electronic. To develop faster electronic devices and better telecommunication, imaging, and spectroscopy. Precision control of electron. To explore short-lived atomic and molecular processes in fields like material science, electronics, and catalysis. Short-lived atomic and molecular process. to explore short-lived atomic and molecular processes in fields like material science, electronics, and catalysis. The laser light is divided into two beams when layer 1 is used to create a train of attosecond pulse. This pulse train is then added to the original laser pulse, and the combination is used to perform extremely rapid experiments. Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2003. The prize awarded for the discovery and the development of the quantum dot. The prize was given to Mongi G. Bawandi, Louis A. Bruce, and Alexei Yakimov. मोंगी लुइस एलेक्सी ओके केमिस्ट्री में मिला था मोंगी लुइस एंड एलेक्सी मोंगी जी बवंडी लुइस ए ब्रूस एलेक्सी यकीमो A quantum dot is a crystal that often consists of just a few thousand atoms. Just a few. A quantum dot is a crystal. ठीक है that contains just a few thousands atom in terms of size. It has the same relationship to a football as a football has to the size of the earth. Okay, the prize was given to Mongi G. Bawandi, Louis, and Alexei Yakimov. About quantum dots are man-made semiconductor particles whose size are normally not more than 10 nanometer. They are composed of different types of atoms such as cadmium and selenium. Similar behavior is observed in some metals. Therefore, in some cases, it may be acceptable to speak about the metal quantum dot. Quantum dots are also denoted as artificial atoms or zero-dimensional electron system. Properties of quantum dot: they exhibit quantum confinement, which leads to many unique optical and transport properties. Quantum confinement: fluorescence: when excited by an external electric or light source, quantum dot ठीक है कोई भी इलेक्ट्रिक या लाइट सोर्स देते हैं, then these quantum dot they emit photons of a specific wavelength. When these quantum dots are excited by an external electric or an electric source or a light source, these quantum dots emit photon of a specific wavelength. Tunable emission: quantum dot can emit light of different colors depending on their size. अपने साइज पे डिपेंड करता है. दिस प्रॉपर्टी इज कॉल्ड साइज ट्यूनेबल एमिशन एंड इज वाइडली यूज्ड इन डिस्प्ले टेक्नोलॉजीज एंड बायो इमेजिंग. Photo stability: quantum dots are less prone to photo bleaching, loss of fluorescence over time compared to traditional organic dyes. This makes them suitable for long-term imaging application. Material variety: quantum dot can be made from different semiconductor materials such as cadmium selenide, lead sulfide, and indium arsenide, each with its own unique properties. Biocompatibility: some quantum dots are biocompatible, which means they can be used in biological application without causing harm to the living cell. This property is advantages in bioimaging and drug delivery. About Nobel winning research: in the early 1980s, Alexei Yakimov succeeded in creating size-dependent quantum effect in colored gas. Size-dependent quantum effects in colored gas. He demonstrated that the particle size affected the color of the gas via quantum effect. Okay, Alexei Yakimov succeeded in creating size-dependent quantum effect in colored gas. Size-dependent quantum effect in colored gas. He demonstrated that the particle size affected the color of the glass by a quantum effect. A few years later, Louis Bruce was the first scientist in the world to prove size-dependent quantum effect in particles floating freely in a fluid. Okay, एक second. Succeeded in creating a size पे depend quantum effect in a colored gas. कोई भी colored gas ले लो, ठीक है? Size dependent. Okay, size dependent quantum effects in color gas. He demonstrated that the particle size affected, जो भी particle का जितना बड़ा particle का size होगा, that will affect the color of the glass via quantum effect. A few years later, Louis Bruce was the first scientist in the world to prove size-dependent quantum effects in particles floating freely in a fluid also. Like glass में. In 1993, Mongi Bawandi developed a technique to make quantum dots of well-defined size and with high optical quantum dots of well-defined sizes with high optical quality. Application of quantum dots. The technology can be supplied in a multitude of domains, including the following: electronics, a television screen based on QLED technology and LED lamp, advanced surgery, in cancer treatment for targeted drug delivery, nanomedicine, biochemists and doctors use them to map the biological tissue. Anti-counterfeit methods used as a security markers on the currency. Anti-counterfeit method, currency and the document of the potential in quantum computing, thinner solar cell, flexible electronics, tiny sensor, encrypted quantum communication, etc. क्वांटम की बात कर, एप्लीकेशन देख लो कहाँ पे, बायोमेजिक एंड मेडिसिन, ठीक है, बायोलेबल सेंसर, ब्राइट एंड लो बैंड एमिशन, क्वांटम इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन, मशीन वर्जन, ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी, कैमरा, डिस्प्ले, इल्यूमिनेशन, सोलर कंसंट्रेटर्स, फोटोवोल्टाइक सेल. ठीक है, एक और टॉपिक था ऊपर. Okay, quantum confinement. It is a phenomenon in the world of quantum mechanics. क्वांटम का नाम है एक फिनोमेना है क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स में दैट अकर्स जब भी कोई पार्टिकल टिपिकली इलेक्ट्रॉन दे आर कन्फाइंड टू अ वेरी स्मॉल स्पेस सच एज इन नैनो स्केल स्ट्रक्चर. It means that when particles are squeezed into a tiny region they start to exhibit unique behavior due to their quantum. गैस बंद करो. Quantum effect arises when particles shrink. When particles are just a few nanometer in diameter, the space available to electron. When particles are just a few nanometer in diameter, the diameter बहुत छोटा है, the space available to electron shrink. This affects the particle's optical property. जितना बड़ा नैनो पार्टिकल, more smaller, larger nanoparticle, more small nanoparticle, larger nanoparticle, more small nanoparticle, less space for electron wave, space for the electron wave. एलेक्सी हो गया, मोंगी हो गया, एलेक्सी मोंगी. नोबेल प्राइज इन फिजियोलॉजी या तो मेडिसिन दी जाती है. प्राइज अवार्डेड फॉर डिस्कवरीज कंसर्निंग न्यूक्लियोसाइड बेस्ड मॉडिफिकेशन दैट इनेबल द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इफेक्टिव mRNA वैक्सीन अगेंस्ट द कोविड-19. डिस्कवरीज कंसर्निंग prize award Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine discoveries concerning the nucleoside based modification that enable the development of effective mRNA vaccine against the COVID-19. The prize was given to Katalin Kariko and Drew Weissman. Katalin Kariko and Drew Weissman. ठीक है, about vaccination COVID-19. Effective mRNA vaccine against the COVID-19. Discoveries concerning the nucleoside based modification that enable the development of effective mRNA vaccine against COVID-19. The prize was given to Katalin and Drew. About vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination work by simulating the formation of an immune response to a particular pathogen. A vaccine based on a killed or weakened virus have long been available as a vaccine against the polio, measles and yellow fever. As technology evolved, instead of the whole virus, just a part of the viral genetic code began to be introduced through vaccine and DNA-based vaccines. However, the large-scale development of a DNA vaccine requires cell culture. अगर DNA based vaccine देनी तो it will require cell culture, growing of cells under controlled condition and takes time. When you get a DNA vaccine, your cell translate the gene particle from the virus or a bacteria into a protein that your body recognizes as a foreign element. Your cell translate the gene particle from the virus or bacteria into a protein that your body recognizes as a foreign element. Your immune system then creates antibodies that fight these particular protein. During the COVID-19 outbreak, the time was of the essence in finding a weapon against the deadly and a fast spreading virus. Time was of the essence in finding a weapon against the deadly and the fast spreading variant. This is where mRNA technology proved crucial as it requires significantly less time. About mRNA, as a messenger ribonucleic acid, DNA stores all the genetic information in our body. mRNA vaccine that carry genetic information. DNA में सारे genetic information होते हैं. mRNA carries the genetic information similar to the blueprint or set of instructions that is translated into protein. RNA contains 4 nucleoside bases abbreviated AUG: adenine, guanine, ओके, यू से क्या था, साइटोसिन, ओके, AUGC, AGCT था ना, था करस्पॉन्ड, अच्छा ओके, इसका सॉरी आरएनए, देखो आरएनए वर्सेस डीएनए में जो आपके न्यूक्लियोसाइड बेस होते हैं वो होते हैं एडेनिन, थायमाइन, गुआनाइन, साइटोसाइन. इसमें क्या होता है, साइटोसाइन होता है, गुआनाइन भी होता है, एडेनाइन भी होता है, लेकिन थायमाइन की जगह पे यूरासिल होता है. ठीक है. द लेटेस्ट ऑफ द जेनेटिक कोड वर्किंग ऑफ mRNA वैक्सीन यूज है mRNA क्रिएटेड इन अ लैबोरेटरी टू टीच आवर सेल टू mRNA vaccine. mRNA vaccine use mRNA created in a laboratory to teach our cells how to make a protein or even just a piece of a protein that triggers an immune response inside our body. Protein or a piece of protein that triggers immune response in our body. In vitro transcribed mRNA or synthetic mRNA is the synthetic form of mRNA that is used in mRNA based vaccine which is created outside of a living cell. This immune response which produces antibodies is what helps to protect us from getting sick immediately. Also the body remembers the associated pathogens, creating the immunity for the future. DNA to protein replication, DNA से ट्रांसक्रिप्शन, mRNA का ट्रांसलोकेशन प्रोटीन, ट्रांसक्रिप्शन ट्रांसलोकेशन, DNA mRNA प्रोटीन, ट्रांसक्रिप्शन ट्रांसलोकेशन, ओके. Ribonucleic acid, helix of sugar phosphate. The mRNA vaccine provide a promise of a faster vaccine development but pose significant challenges. These challenges were addressed in the work of a novel understanding the concerns with mRNA vaccine, issues with in vitro or transcribed mRNA vaccine. Okay. Instability. They were considered unstable and challenging to deliver, require the development of a sophisticated delivery system. Unstable, challenging to remove the requisite sophisticated delivery system. The cells recognize in vitro transcribed mRNA as a foreign substance. The cell recognize in vitro transcribed inflammatory region. The cells recognize in vitro transcribe mRNA as a foreign substance, which leads to the activation and the release of an inflammatory. The cell recognize in vitro transcribe mRNA as a foreign substance, which leads to the activation and the release of inflammatory signaling molecule. Insufficient protein production in cells and tissue. Instability रहती है. They were considered unstable and challenging to deliver, requiring the development of sophisticated delivery system. Inflammatory reaction. The cell recognized in vitro transcribed mRNA as a foreign substance, which leads to the activation and the release of the inflammatory signal. In vitro transcribed mRNA as foreign substance. The cells, which lead to the activation, release of inflammatory signaling molecule. Inefficient protein production in cells and tissue. The cell recognized to transcribe mRNA as a foreign substance, which leads to the activation and the release of inflammatory signaling molecule. Inefficient protein production in cells and tissue. Mammalian cells. They are eukaryotic cells that are derived from the tissue of a mammal. Eukaryote cells are the cells that contain a nucleus and organelle. They are enclosed by plasma membrane. Fungi, plant and animal, etc. They have eukaryotic cell. They question why the synthetic mRNA was considered to be a foreign substance, while mRNA from the mammalian cell did not give rise to the same reaction. They question why the synthetic mRNA was considered a foreign substance, while mRNA from the mammalian cell did not give rise to the same reaction. The reason for difference in the mRNA from the cell, that is mammalian and mRNA, undergoes a chemical change after entering the body, whereas synthetic mRNA remains unchanged. तो chemical change होता था, इसमें नहीं हो रहा है. This led them to realize some critical properties must distinguish synthetic mRNA from mammalian cell mRNA. Breakthrough by them understanding Caribou and Weisman, they knew that nucleoside base in RNA from mammalian nucleoside bases in RNA from the mammalian cell are frequently chemically modified. The mammalian cells are and RNA from mammalian cells are frequently chemically modified. So they hypothesized that the absence of the altered base in the in vitro transcribed RNA could explain the unwanted inflammatory reaction. On testing, they produced different variants of mRNA, each with the unique chemical alternation in the base which they delivered to the cell. The result was significant, and the inflammatory response was almost abolished when base modification were included in the mRNA. Base modification. This is unmodified mRNA, uridine. This is base modified mRNA, which is included in mRNA. Pseudo-uridine. ठीक है, ये इन्फ्लेमेटरी रिस्पॉन्स है. इसमें सीडोयूरिडाइन कर दिया, बेस मॉडिफाइड कर दिया तो नहीं हुआ. Application and the discovery COVID-19 vaccine. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, base modified mRNA vaccines encoding the SARS-CoV-2 surface protein were developed at an unprecedented pace. Example: mRNA vaccine developed by the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. Rapid vaccine development, impressive flexibility in the speed with which mRNA vaccine can be developed, paved the way for using the new transfer vaccine against other infectious disease. Broad applicability. In the future, the technology may also be used to deliver the therapeutic proteins and treat some cancer type. In the future, technology may also be used to deliver. In the future, technology may also be used to deliver. In the future, the technology may also be used to deliver therapeutic proteins and treat some cancer type. Broad applicability. In the future, the technology may also be used to deliver the therapeutic proteins and treat some cancer type. Broad applicability. In the future, the technology may also be used to deliver. In the future, technology may also be used to deliver therapeutic proteins and then treat some cancer type. Therapeutic protein treat some cancer type. Global health impact. mRNA vaccine then can play a role in improving the global health by addressing a range of infectious disease and potentially reducing the severity and spread of an epidemic and pandemic. mRNA vaccine can play a role in improving global health by addressing a range of infectious diseases and potentially reducing the severity and spread of epidemic and pandemic. Have global health impact, broad applicability, therapeutic protein, cancer type, rapid vaccine development, impressive flexibility and speed, COVID-19 vaccination. Net neutrality. Around 128 startups have written to the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India opposing the telecom service provider push for regulating the OTT service. Over-the-top service, OTT service, and the relation between the telecom service provider and OTT. OTTs can be content, a service, or an application that is provided to the end users over the public internet. They are classified into two groups: OTT communication service, OTT application service. Okay, OTT communication. These services provide real-time person-to-person telecommunication service over the internet, WhatsApp, and Telegram. Take it to OTT communication. OTT application include all the OTT services such as media service, trade and commerce service, cloud service, social media, example Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, etc. The relation between the telecom service provider and the OTT. While the telecom service provider seem to claim their right to ask for a fee for their investment, this is also seen as a move against the net neutrality in a new form. While the telecom service seemed to claim their right to ask for a fee for their investment, which also sent a move against the net neutrality in a new form. Capital cost incurred by the telecom service provider is high, and they spend millions in setting up the necessary infrastructure for the services to the consumer, of which the OTTs are a part. Impact on revenue to the telecom service provider, as some OTT provide the same service they offer like impact on revenues to the telecom service. Same services they offer like calls and messaging service over the internet, they provide and act as their competitors. So regulatory purview over the telecom service provider is high, and they are bound by the rules of the government and Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, whereas the OTT do not have such direct obligation. Regulatory purview over the TSP is very high, and they are bound by the rules of the government and the Telecom Regulatory Authority, where the OTT do not have such a direct obligation. The demand for the transmission capacity provided by telecom service is boosted by the OTT. The demand for the transmission capacity provided by the telecom is boosted by the OTT's content, leading to the surge in the net data consumption, favoring the TCSP. The telecom service provider are of view that OTT application service like Netflix, Amazon, and Prime Video not only consume a significant bandwidth in the network, but the other OTT communication service like WhatsApp, Facebook, can also cause significant revenue loss to them. Significant bandwidth revenue loss. Hence, the Indian telecom service providers are demanding a network users fee from the big tech companies and the OTT for using the infrastructure. What is net neutrality? Net neutrality is the concept of an open, equal internet for open internet, equal internet for everyone regardless of the device, the application they are using, or platform used, and the content consumed. Platform use, content consumed. Proponents of the idea believe that all corporations, including the internet service provider, should treat internet data and the users equally. Proponents of the idea believe that all the corporations, including internet service provider, they should treat the internet data and users equally. Proponents of the idea believe all corporations, including the internet idea believe that all corporations, including the internet service providers, should treat internet data and users equally. They should not restrict access, slow down the access speed, or the block content. Restrict access, slow down, block content for users to serve their own interest. The issue began with Facebook launch of Free Basics in 2013, which were designed to provide a set of website and content freely available only to the users and subscribers of the Reliance network in India. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India released a new framework called the Prohibition of Discriminatory Tariff for Data Service Regulation 2011. Prohibition of Discriminatory Tariff for Data Service Regulation 2011, which barred the telecom service provider from charging differential rate and ensured net neutrality. Which barred the telecom service provider from charging differential rates. Which barred the telecom service provider from charging telecom service provider. ठीक है, from charging differential rate and ensured net neutrality. Charging differential and net neutrality. What? Okay, equal access to all internet user, non-discrimination based on the content type of user, transparency about the network management, no paid prioritization that favors few companies, no throttling of speed for specific website or application, no blocking of access to any legal website or online service, no blocking. Implication of the disregarded and net neutrality. Induce internet communication. The internet service provider ISP, they can favor and boost a specific content application product to the consumers, creating discrimination. The internet service provider, they can favor and boost a specific content or application or product to the consumer, creating discrimination. Discourages so discrimination or discouraging innovation. The level playing field for the startups and the small companies is removed, discouraging them to innovate on new ideas and strengthening the hands of the big tech companies. Privacy concern. Internet service provider could explore their power to collect and monetize user data without their consent. Privacy concern. Monetize user data. Limits consumer freedom by letting internet service provider dictate what is accessible or affordable to the consumer. That is, their freedom to choose is hindered. Widen digital divide. It exacerbates the digital divide. It exacerbates the digital divide with marginalized communities having even less access to essential online. It exacerbates the digital divide with marginalized communities having less access to essential online resources, educational tools, and job opportunities. Incorporation of Eki Bhargav Committee recommendation. Incorporation of a clause in the license condition of telecom service internet service provider that will require the license to adhere to the principles and condition of net neutrality. Till such time as the appropriate legal framework is enacted with the principle of net neutrality, the interim provision enforceable through license condition as suggested by the committee may be the way forward. Create a level playing field through a regulatory framework which is fair and equal for both the players without affecting the end consumer. Level playing field through regulatory framework, fair and equal for both the players. Define OTTs and their service in order to bring them under the ambit of a regulation in terms of their content, service, etc. Define the OTTs and their service in order to bring them under the ambit of regulation in terms of their content, service, etc. protect the welfare of the customer, ensure that there is no rise in cost either directly or indirectly which is transferred to the customers. Protect the welfare of the customers. Define OTTs and their service. Protect the welfare of the customer. Proactive monitoring. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India should proactively monitor the telecom service provider behavior to detect and address any violation towards net neutrality promptly. Unlocking India's space tech potential. A report titled Exploring Opportunities for Indian Downstream Space Tech was jointly launched by Indian Space Association, NASCOM, Deloitte India at the Indian Space Conclave 2023. A report titled Exploring Opportunities for Indian Downstream Space Tech was jointly launched by Exploring Opportunities for Indian and Downstream Space Tech was jointly launched by Indian Space Association and NASCOM Deloitte India at the Indian Space Conclave. कितने पॉइंट बचे? A report titled Exploring Opportunities for Indian Downstream Space Tech was jointly launched by Indian Space Association, NASCOM, Deloitte India at the Indian Space Conclave 2023. India's space economy. Currently, the Indian space economy is valued at around 8.4 billion, 2% share in the global space economy with a vision to increase it to 10%. It accounts for about 0.25% of the India's GDP. More than 190 registered space startups as of 2003. 190 space startups, 0.2% of Indian GDP, 2% share in global space economy with a vision to increase it to 10%. Currently, it is 8.4%. Space value chain. Upstream segment. This segment refers to all activities, products, infrastructure, ensuring the development, testing, launching, operating, and monitoring, including space situation, awareness of space as an example, space tourism, space mining. This segment refers to all applications, services, and devices relying on satellite to create business value. This include dual-purpose service and applications that cater to strategic requirement, Earth observation. Primarily referring to activities, product, and service derived from the space technology in other sectors such as manufacturing and health. It includes additional space-related activities such as space insurance awareness, space situation awareness, space tourism, space mining, Earth observation, space insurance and awareness, education and training. Okay. The Indian space journey started with the formation of the INCOSPAR, Indian National Committee for Space Research in 1962, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization 1969, INCOSPAR 1962, ISRO in 1969 and Department of Space in 1972. INCOSPAR 1962, 1969 में ISRO, Department of 1972. Government was the only player. Since then and up till 2020, the space sector was effectively a domain of the government with negligible private sector participation. Entry of the private sector. Space is no longer the exclusive or the only player. Since space is no longer the exclusive domain of the government, it is yet to be driven by the synergized effort between the public and the private sector due to its strategic and economic significance. Public synergized effort between public and private due to the strategic and economic significance. Sector due to the strategic and economic significance. Segment until now, most of the contribution to the space technology has been from the upstream segment of the value chain through satellite manufacturing and launching. India's new space policy has opened opportunity for space to serve even the पहले upstream segment of the value chain को ही segment diversification पहले upstream था, now we have to focus on downstream segment. Okay, potential areas for the Indian downstream energy remote sensing other include services for storage of satellite data, जो डेटा है, data analysis and development of application in sectors of agriculture, crop identification, soil mapping, weather monitoring, irrigation management. Crop identification, soil mapping, weather monitoring, irrigation management, etc. Urban planning and development, master plan development, urban heat island, protection and monitoring, disaster management, protection and post-disaster management. Blue economy, oceanography, fish detection and forecast potential fishing zone. Satellite communication focuses on products and services that uses the communication satellites for services like broadcasting, communication, internet connectivity. Connectivity for bank branches in remote areas. Health, education and governance delivery, other sector. Connectivity for bank branches in remote areas. Health, education, governance delivery, other sector. Tourism, payment, trade, digital commerce, etc. Positioning, navigation and timing service. It includes services used for tracking of assets, navigation service on air, land and sea, guidance, drones, navigation for enterprise, toll collection, railway. Okay, civil aviation, commercial civil aviation, airport operation, time synchronization, telecom, energy, finance. Space for strategic purpose. Categorized as the fourth operational domain, space has always been the dual-purpose sector to serve the national security and the strategic interest. Secure communication, integrated command and control center, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, strategic surveillance, asset, marine domain awareness. Challenges for the emerging Indian private sector space. Indian private space ecosystem. International competition. Global space industry is highly competitive and Indian companies need to find their niche and different. जो स्पेस है वो हाईली कॉम्पिटिटिव है, दे हैव टू फाइंड देयर नीच एंड डिफरेंशिएट देमसेल्फ टू कॉम्पीट इफेक्टिवली. मेजर फंडिंग इज फॉर द इंडस्ट्री रिलेटेड टू अपस्ट्रीम एक्टिविटीज while the downstream companies pull in lower amount. Global instability and geopolitical conflict to disrupt supply chain leading to limited access to key equipment for private sector. Indian space tech market lack comprehensive data aggregation and analytical capabilities. Space sector faces challenges justifying the return on investment due to the high cost of space resource. इस इंडियन स्पेस एसोसिएशन ISPA 2021 में लॉन्च किया था. इंडियन स्पेस एसोसिएशन नॉन प्रॉफिट नेशनल बॉडी सेटअप एक्सक्लूसिव फॉर द सक्सेसफुल कोलैबोरेशन डेवलपमेंट फॉर द प्राइवेट स्पेस इंडस्ट्री इन इंडिया. लार्सन एंड टॉबो, नलका टाटा, वन वे भारती रेल एक्ट एज अ ब्रिज बिटवीन द गवर्नमेंट एंड द प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्री. ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस पॉलिसी स्टेबिलिटी, फॉस्टरिंग अवेयरनेस, इंटरनेशनल पार्टनरशिप. Indian space tech market lacks comprehensive data aggregation, analytical capabilities. Despite the challenges in justifying return on investment due to the high cost of space resource. We had active role of the government with the space sector opening up. The government have to play a crucial role to play as enablers and the consumers of the Earth observation-based services. Their involvement can nurture the growing ecosystem. It need to simplify and expedite the regulatory process, ensuring transparency and predictability. They need to simplify and expedite the regulatory process. Streamline regulatory framework. They need to simplify and expedite regulatory process. Simplify and expedite regulatory process, ensuring transparency and predictability in approval. Simplify, expedite regulatory process, ensuring transparency, predictability in approval. Encourage collaboration to expand the satellite communication service to make space-based service more affordable. Enhance and strengthen cooperation of international partners with the Indian space industry through initiatives like satellite service, NISAR, India and US. NISAR, Indian space industry through asteroid. Okay. Next topic, asteroid. NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission brought the sample from the carbon-rich asteroid Bennu back to the Earth. OSIRIS-REx mission is an acronym for Origin, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification and Security Regolith Exploit. Goal of the mission: collect samples from asteroid Bennu and deliver them to Earth. Timeline mission: 2016 spacecraft launch, 2020 collected rocks and dust from the surface of asteroid Bennu. After study of the asteroid, the spacecraft began to cruise back to the Earth from the sample. It became the first US mission to deliver the sample of an asteroid to Earth. New journey: after its sample and delivery, OSIRIS-REx continued on to a new mission to asteroid Apophis, hence renamed as Azores Apex. Apophis Explorer. पहला Azores Rex of the Azores Apex. Asteroid sometimes called minor planets are rocky cloud objects that orbit the sun much smaller than the planet. Asteroids are divided into three phases. Main asteroid belt found in the main asteroid belt between the Mars and Jupiter, which is estimated to contain several 1.9 million asteroids. Total mass of the all material in the main asteroid belt combined is less than that of the Earth's moon. These asteroids share an orbit with a larger Trojan. These asteroids share an orbit with a larger planet, but they do not collide with it. Orbit with a larger planet. These asteroids share an orbit with a larger planet. NASA report the presence of Jupiter, Neptune and Mars Trojan. Mars, Jupiter के ट्रोजन में नेपट्यून के भी है, मार्स के ट्रोजन में भी है. दो जगह they are reported and Earth Trojan as well. Okay. Comet is an icy body that releases gases at orbit the sun. Meteoroid, rocky or metallic fragment of asteroid, comet or planet. Meteoroid fragment that reaches the Earth. Asteroid, rocky body smaller than a planet that orbit the sun. A streak of light seen when a meteoroid beats up in the atmosphere. Okay. About asteroid Bennu. Empire State Building, Eiffel Tower 510 मीटर का है. 510 मीटर. 510 मीटर. A small near Earth carbon rich asteroid. It established with 10 million years of the formation of the solar system, age 4.5 billion to complete the orbit around the sun in 1.2 every 1.2 years, comes very close to Earth every 6 years. Near Earth asteroid. These have orbit that pass close to the Earth. Asteroid that cross the Earth's orbit are called Earth crosser. How does the asteroid exploration contribute to astronomy? Insight on the formation of solar system. Asteroid Bennu are considered remnants of the formation of our solar system. Analyzing the sample can help us understand the condition of materials present at that time. Samples can provide insight into the chemicals and the organic compound that may play a role in the origin of the life on Earth. Chemical insight into the chemical compound and organic compound that may have played a role in the origin of rain. For example, initial studies of the Bennu samples show evidence of the high carbon content and water, which together could indicate the building blocks of the life on Earth. Understanding the composition and structure of the asteroid like Bennu is useful for conducting the planetary defense effort for the future. This information can help in developing strategies to mitigate the potential threat posed by the near-Earth object. The mission demonstrates the advanced technology in spacecraft design, navigation, and sample collection, which can be applied to future space mission. Japan will launch MMX Martian Moon Exploration Mission in 2024 to study the Martian moons and will collect the surface sample from Phobos. NASA and European space are designing a multi-mission campaign to retrieve samples that NASA's Mars 2020 Perseverance rovers is collecting. Resource utilization. By analyzing the composition of the Bennu material, we can assess the potential for resource utilization, such as mining asteroid for variable minerals or water. Resource utilization. International collaboration. It highlights the significance of global collaboration in space exploration and the scientific community's ability to work together on an ambitious project. This includes global mission for gathering samples from space in general and exploration of asteroids in particular. Missions which have gathered samples from the space is NASA's Apollo 11 and collected and returned the first space samples from the moon. NASA Genesis spacecraft 2004 Genesis Apollo 11 Genesis collect samples of the solar wind. Apollo 11 1969 moon. Genesis spacecraft 2004 solar wind. NASA startup mission 2006 became the first to collect comet samples and deliver them to Earth. JAXA's Hayabusa 2 mission 2020 delivered the sample of an asteroid Rygo. NASA's Galileo mission was the first spacecraft to fly past an asteroid Gaspara mission for exploration of asteroid. Galileo mission. Asteroid Gaspara, G से Galileo, G से Gaspara, 1991. Japanese spacecraft Hayabusa landed on the near-Earth asteroid Itokawa and attempted to collect sample. NASA Dawn spacecraft Dawn. तो जापानीज का हायाबुसा, गैलीलियो का गास्पारा, हायाबुसा इटोकावा, नासा डॉन स्पेसक्राफ्ट to explore the asteroid Vesta. The recent success of the sample return mission is significant, making it a pivotal event in the space exploration. This holds the promise of expanding our knowledge of the universe and possibly impacting our future endeavors in space. Promising expanding our knowledge of the universe. Research of traditional medicine on World Health Organization and list. The Ministry of Ayush has sought for Ayurveda and related system to be included in the 11th revision of the International Classification of Disease as Module 2 of a supplementary chapter on traditional medicine. The development of Module 2 relies on implementation knowledge obtained from the National Ayush Mobility and Standardized Namaste Portal, National Ayush Mobility and Standardized Terminology Electronic Portal, and Ayush Health Information Management System. ICD is an international standard for systematic recording, reporting, analysis, interpretation, and comparison of mortality and morbidity data. Previously, ICD 11 and included Module 1 that covers the traditional medicine condition originating in ancient China, which is now commonly used in Japan and Korea. Module 2. National Ayush. ICD 11 came into effect in January 2022. ICD 11. January 2022. Significance. Provides a list of the 93 categories to collect and report on traditional medicine condition in an internationally comparable manner. Link traditional medicine practices with the global conventional medicine norms and standard development. Enable the integration of the traditional medicine into insurance coverage and reimbursement system in line with the WHO objective relating to universal health coverage. Traditional delivery is some of knowledge, skills, and practices indigenous and different cultures have used over time to maintain the health, diagnose, and treat the physical and the mental illness. National Ayush Morbidity. Namaste. National Ayush Morbidity and Standardized Terminology Electronic Portal. It provides standardized terminologies and morbidity code for Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani system of medicine. Ayush Health Information Management System. Ayush Health Information Management System. It is a comprehensive IT platform to effectively manage all the functions of healthcare delivery system and patient care in Ayush facilities. Healthcare delivery system, comprehensive IT platform. Ayush Health Information Management System, IT platform to effectively manage all functions of healthcare delivery system, patient care and Ayush facility. Ayushman and Bhav campaign, initiative of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to extend the comprehensive healthcare coverage to every village and Bhav campaign. Ministry of Health, every village, extend comprehensive healthcare. Ayushman आपके द्वार to provide Ayushman card to remaining eligible beneficiaries enrolled in the प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य योजना Ayushman Mela to facilitate the creation of health IDs and issuance of the Ayushman Bharat card. Ayushman Sabha to raise awareness about the vital health scheme and disease condition. NGO self-help group, PRI, youth group, primary cooperative society, Indian Medical Association, and companies using CSR fund will be a part of the campaign. Indian Pharmacopoeia Mission becomes a member of the Pharmacopoeial Discussion Group. Indian Pharmacopoeia Mission is an autonomous institution in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare since 2009. It publishes the Indian Pharmacopoeia and regularly updates the standards of drugs imported Imported, manufactured, stock, exhibited for sale or distributed in India. Pharmacopoeia refer to the book or monograph published by the government or recognized organization to provide the standards of the strength and provide standards of strength and purity for therapeutic strength and purity of therapeutic drugs. In IP, Indian Pharmaceutical Standard for Drugs are in terms of the second schedule to the Drugs and Cosmetic Act of 1940 and Rule 194 thereunder. PDG, it was formed by the US, European Union and Japan in 1980, and US, European Union and Japan and World Health Organization joined and observed in 2008. It worked to harmonize the pharmacopoeia standard in the member countries region. Harmonization reduces the manufacturer's burden of having to perform analytical procedure in different ways using different acceptance criteria to satisfy the pharmacopoeia requirement that vary across. Benefit to IPC of joining the PDG. International recognition of the standards set by the IPC, enhanced acceptance of Indian pharmaceutical products in the global market, better health, public health worldwide as it helps to prevent the circulation of the substandard or the counterfeit drug. Monoclonal antibody. Union government decided to procure doses of monoclonal antibody from Australia. Monoclonal antibody and experimental therapeutic was also imported for treatment of infected patients during the 2018 Nipah outbreak in Kerala. Nipah virus एक genetic virus है that can be transmitted through contaminated food or directly between the people. Monoclonal antibodies are artificial antibodies that mimic the activity of our immune system. They are produced through a process that involves extracting specific antibodies from a human plant and then cloning them. They are clone of just one antibody and they bind to one antigen only. They are made by homogeneous hybrid cell, B cell, derived from the same parent cell. Polyclonal antibodies, Polyclonal antibodies, on the other hand, are a mixture of antibodies that are secreted by different B cell lineages. They have been used in the treatment of cancer, Ebola, HIV. MABs, can be effectively bind with a part of the viral envelope that attaches to the human cell to gain entry in the body. This effectively neutralizes the virus. Concerned with MAB, side effects with such as cytokine release syndrome reaction, allergic atopic disorder, impaired immune system. Antibodies are protective proteins produced by the immune system in response to the presence of a foreign substance called an antigen. R21 matrix and malaria vaccine. Okay. R21 matrix M malaria vaccine. But WHO has recommended second malaria vaccine R21 matrix M for the prevention of malaria in children. This follows the protocol for the RTS A0 vaccine in 2000. R21 matrix vaccine has been licensed for use in Ghana, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso. It was developed by the General Institute at Oxford University Serum Institute of India. Keeps the cost effective, high efficacy, safe in clinical time. Malaria is caused by the Plasmodium parasite, which is spread to people through the bite of the infected female Anopheles mosquito. Packaging of the food product. Under food safety and standard packaging regulation, those that use of newspaper or similar material for storing and wrapping food is strictly prohibited. Newspapers are often subject to various environmental conditions using distribution, making them subject to contraband by bacteria, virus, or other pathogen. The ink used in the newspaper printing may cause the cancer, liver failure, and lung damage due to the components such as the lead, naphthylamine, aromatic hydrocarbon agonist for AHR, aryl hydrocarbon receptor. AHR is a protein that mediates toxicity. Aryl hydrocarbon receptor, protein binder. FSSAI has clarified addition of protein binders or any other additives in dairy products is not permitted. Protein binders. Okay. Protein binders are a biological research reagent which bind to the specific target protein to manufacture a wide range of new food products. Protein binding can enhance or distract performance. Protein binding is often known to affect the digestibility of the protein bond and thus can affect the biological and the nutritive value of milk protein. Milk protein is a good source of essential amino acid. Milk protein is essentially digestible and do not contain any anti-nutritional factor unlike many other plant-based protein. National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System. National Workshop of Technology Innovation in CPS highlights the importance of technology innovation hubs set up under the ITNA. CPS, these are the collection. Cyber physical systems are the collection of computing devices communicating with one another, interacting with the physical world via sensor and actuator in a feedback loop. It includes technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, robotics, etc. Application areas are healthcare, precision agriculture, energy infrastructure. AI, Internet of Things और machine learning, robotics, healthcare, precision agriculture, and energy infrastructure. Was launched in 2018 by the Department of Science and Technology, which make India leading player in the center cyber physical system and technology. India make India leading producer, promote translational research in CPS associated technology. Gravity battery. A gravity battery is a type of electricity storage device that involves lifting, charging and lowering, discharging a heavy weight. When there is a plenty of green energy, the battery uses the power to lift a very heavy weight either high into the air or to the top of a deep shaft. When electricity demand picks up, the blocks are lowered one by one and picks up, releasing the kinetic energy that is used to rotate a motor and generate electricity. Gravity battery. ठीक है. Neanderthal Neanderthal. Researchers have found that humans carry DNA remnants of ancient Neanderthal. Humans carry DNA. Neanderthal from human, they were a distinct species called Homo neanderthalensis. They lived in Europe and Southwest Central Asia during the Middle or the Late Pleistocene epoch, about 4 lakh to 40,000 years ago. Physical appearance: long skull, low skull compared to more granular skull of human with a characteristic prominent Etna. They were skilled tool makers and use a technology called Mousterian culture, which involved the creation of various stone tools like scraper, point handling. Mousterian culture. Green ammonia. Green ammonia from Egypt imported through VOC port, Tamil Nadu for the first time. Green ammonia from Egypt imported through VOC port, Tamil Nadu for the first time. Green ammonia is made using 100% renewable and carbon-free source. Blue ammonia, 100% renewable carbon. Blue ammonia refers to the ammonia for which the byproduct CO2 has been captured and stored, reducing climate impact. Grey brown ammonia refers to the ammonia producing using fossil fuel. Ammonia is a pungent gas widely used to make fertilizer. Produced through Haber-Bosch process in which the hydrogen and nitrogen are reacted together to high temperature and pressure. Ministry of Power notified the green ammonia policy in 2022. Thank you so much.